Hi everyone, so this is your reading for all Scorpios for the month of June 2017. We're going to try to cover work, home, and relationships. Relationships come in all forms. They come in the form of partnerships. Partnerships come in the form of siblings, spouses, parents, co-workers, friends, so keep that in mind. The way I do things might be a little bit different than most people. I got an Aquarius, Mars, Venus, Sag, Sun, and Mercury. My Pisces sits in, it's spelt Pallas, so I'm a little out there, I guess, a little weird. My Virgo rising has her hands full, let's just put it that way. Her squad drives her nuts. I think she feels a little, like she got a little gypped off in this life, but so let's try to see what we can get into here. I just gotta wait for the cards to get interrupted. Scorpios. I know Scorpios have been having a rough time. I got a lot of cross watchers that happen with Scorpios. And I'm just gonna give the warning of if you're cross watching, you need to understand that in like spirituality comes in like, it's different than religion, right? Like, so it's multiple belief systems. But spirituality is the removal of ego and pride is really what it is, because you can't elevate until the ego and pride is removed. And the universe doesn't reward you with knowledge or wisdom until you can handle it, right? And if you have ego and pride, well, then you're not going to be able to handle it. It's going to be misused. So with cross-watching, there's like an insurance policy in spirituality. So that means that life is full of irony. As a Sag Sun with a Sag Mercury, I can assure you that's the truth. So with cross-watching, one, you're not going to get the information about the other person, right? In spirituality, we all have, if you believe in God, angels, higher beings, whatever, Shiva, whatever Buddhist monk culture you believe in, there's a safety. Like they're gonna keep you safe, right? So if a person's watching for another person, you're not getting the information about them. I can assure you that information is probably about you, you know, like, and if you in some cases are watching for another person, a spouse or something like that, okay, so here's the thing, there's good and bad in life, right? Like, and those who say that there isn't, they're lying to you, because you need both in order to create alchemy. You need both, right? Like the devil was an angel at one point, you know what I mean? Like, somebody had to do it. So like it's like you need to understand that if a person hasn't done the work on themselves, well, then they're going to be portraying that. So somebody who reads cards and stuff like that, they might not be working for light, they might be working for dark, right? Light is just based on energy. They don't interfere with free will, they don't mess with the powers that be, and they understand that they cannot do those things. It will backfire. So if you're watching for other people and you're taking that information as true to heart, well, then you're going to create a self-fulfilling prophecy. You're going to create the situation that you were completely trying to get the information on to avoid. So it's best to just stick with your videos, because everybody's protected, right? And the way I do things is a little bit different. I can assure you that on my channel, you will not get the information for the other person. Like, it's spirituality isn't meant to be used against people or to harm a person or to bend free will. All right, spirituality is meant to remove ego and pride, to help us elevate, to help us gain higher wisdom and higher knowledge. It's based on nurturing and compassion and empathy. It's not based on manipulation or you know, like there was a movie once, I forget what it was called, The Bureau or something like that. So if you're meant to be with somebody, all right, and if you believe in spirituality and the higher power or whatever, and you're meant to be with them, do you not think that there would be negative forces trying to interfere with that, to try to prevent two people with higher knowledge and higher wisdom and higher power to come together? Do you not think that there would be powers that would want to manipulate their surroundings to keep that from happening, to keep you from being happy? Like, you know what I mean? Like, so, like, you got to base it on intuition, you know what I mean? Like, and spiritual, like, Scorpios haven't been having the easiest of time, neither has Sagittarius, right? Like, Saturn came out of Scorpio and then went into Sag, and Sag and Scorpio is the whole death and rebirth process. It comes to Sag. You know what I mean? Like after you hit that death cycle, you get the rebirth, which is Sag. You know, you come out on the other side. So for Sages, when things were happening, Saturn was in Scorpio, it was quite traumatic for Sages too, you know, like, and now that it's in Sag, it's like between Sag and Scorpio is it's a black hole, like a galaxy, like this is why Sages and Scorpios can't really get together, because like that's a different dimension between the two of them, you know what I mean? Like, and then it goes to Capricorn. So right now everybody with Saturn and Sag, you're being given a second chance to things, you know. And then when it goes into Saturn, well, when Saturn goes back to its home, it's gonna be like Batman, like coming out with the bat signal everywhere. We're gonna hit Gotham here, but people are being given a second chance with their belief systems in Sag, right? Because Sag believes in forgiveness and change, you know what I mean? They alchemize. So I want people to be aware of that. Like, Scorpios aren't having a good time because their belief systems are being tested. They're being pushed to their limit. You know what I mean? With Saturn and Sag, that's creating chaos for a Scorpio. You know what I mean? Like, they're really being pushed to their limit just as much as the Sag is. You know what I mean? Like, so beware of that, you guys. Right? Like, I had to, I'm sorry also your video's late. That's not by, on purpose. That's because I had some things that came up and my sister ended up coming over and stuff like that. And generally speaking with you guys, I have to use more energy in a Scorpio reading than I do with the other readings. Because there is, it's the hardest signs to be is a Scorpio and a Capricorn. They're the most karmic signs. As somebody who's came, you know, my Saturn or my, South Node is Scorpio. That means that I came back into this life. I got, you know, like, I don't know what my Scorpio past self did, but I did not get the knowledge and wisdom I had very easy. Saturn for 16 years in multiple areas of my chart, you know, like, that was because I came back with that knowledge from the Scorpio as well, right? Like, it's very hard to be a Scorpio. And Scorpios, there is a purity to them, right? So, like, cross-watching, I had to try to kind of figure out how I was going to handle that, because I believe in energy and I don't believe in people sending others negative energy, all right, or messing with free will. And if you're watching on the channel, well, then, you know, I got to protect my Scorpios, because that's negative energy you're sending to them. And I don't do black magic or anything like that. I work with light. Light is just energy. I focus on energy. That's what I do. I'm a healer, right? I don't destroy, I create. And I don't want to see anybody out there destroying. So be aware of that. So for the first cards, we're going to get into it. I'm going to place all the cards down, and we'll see what information I can give you. I'm pretty limited with my chart. I don't mess with free will, like I said, right? So the way I do things is a little bit different. That's also the Aquarius and the Sag. They're quite awkward, those two sides. So for the first card we have is the Star. I bought these cards because they remind me of Merlin, King Arthur, also The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. The next card we have is the Nine of Chalices, so the Nine of Cups. We have the Two of Wands. We have the High Priestess. This is Pisces. A lot of people come up and they're like, well, it can mean a lot of things, but if it's representing a person, it's Pisces. It's always Pisces, right? Somebody with a strong Pisces, or a they have like an important Pisces placement in their chart somewhere, right? Like, Pisces have an insurance policy on them as well. They cannot, they're one of the most powerful signs, and they're given that card because they see behind the veil, right? Like, so that's power that they have to hold, and wisdom. They don't get that easy. There's an insurance policy on them. They'll be punished if they misuse it. The next card we have is the King of Pentacles. We have the King of Chalices, so the King of Cups. We have the Moon, the Four of Wands, and the Queen of Chalices, the Queen of Cups. So let's see what we can get into here. I'm probably going to get a lot of, like, nasty comments, eh? I really don't care. I care about, I'm a humanitarian. Like, I don't want people getting negative energy, because even if people don't watch this channel and they're cross watching for another Scorpio, well, then they're sending them negative energy, right? Like, I don't want that. Like, gotta heal people, right? Like, I don't play with black magic, man. I don't mess with the powers that be. You don't want to mess with that stuff. Like, all right, so what we have coming in relationships, and this comes in all forms, okay, you guys? We still have some things, okay? There's hope and renewal coming in, all right? The universe is going to give this to you guys, but this is a matter of you using your energies correctly this month to obtain it, right? Like, there's free will. You have the choice to do what you want, right? Like, the universe doesn't interfere with your free will, but they will be like a mother and teach you a lesson, like, and punish you afterwards if it's not used correctly. You know what I mean? Like, with the High Priestess here and the Moon, Scorpios. Okay, so there's some things that you guys, my readings are mainly self-focused, so there's still some things that you guys are hiding. You're not coming out with yet. Okay, so your communication, we have no communication here, so you're keeping everything within, right? You're bottling everything up, and that's not good with the Scorpio, because the Scorpio eventually, like, you'll use your stinger, right? Like, and you'll paralyze the person. You guys know about something and you're not coming to terms with it. Like, there's something that you got to make a decision about here, you guys. Like, okay, so the card what not to do is the Ten of Chalices, which is the Ten of Cups. So you guys are pretending like everything's good and gravy. You know what I mean? It's not good and gravy right now. Like, you can't pretend and you can't hide that anymore, is what it's saying. And, like, you got to face the facts here, right? Like, you got to put work and effort into things. You can't allow things to be the way that they are. You can't hide your emotions anymore. The universe is calling you to task. If you want hope and renewal in your relationships, whether that's with family members or spouses or siblings or your spouse, you can't be hiding things anymore. You gotta come out in the open with things. Things aren't going to get better just because you want them to. Yeah, you really got to work on your emotions, you guys. Showing your emotions. You could be bottling up a lot of stuff that's happened in the past, right? So you're not as emotionally expressive. You definitely have to express your emotions. You can't hide it anymore, you guys. I mean, you're going to destroy yourselves if you don't. Like, that's what the cards are saying. Like, you're going to destroy a partnership, like, because you're too scared to show your emotions. Also, using trickery and stuff like that, emotional manipulation is not going to work. Like, you guys are really being pushed to your limits with Saturn being in Sagittarius too. Like, you guys, you're having to see a different way, right? Like, because that's what Sagittarius is about. It's about expansion. It's about growing, learning, higher knowledge, higher wisdom, belief systems. That's all being pushed to the test with your relationships. So how do you believe, like, the way that you believe relationships were supposed to be, and the way that they were supposed to be, like, your communication style, that's all being tested, and, like, it's a mutable science. So you're gonna have to, like, as the circumstances come, you're gonna have to adapt to the situation. You know what I mean? Like, you can't be, like, with Mars, you can't be and Pluto, right? So, like, it's like the god of war and Pluto being underworld. It's like you can't be planning things behind the scene, behind the veil. You know, like, how you're going to do things, how things are going to work out. That has to be communicated with your partner. It has to be an equal give and take. It's a partnership, not a relationship, right? Like, the Two of Cups is a partnership. A relationship is an exchange. It's like a pimp and a prostitute. It's like a dog doing a trick. You get a treat after you do the trick, right? In exchange for sex and money, you know, instead of, like, emotions or, like, building together, you know. Like, at work, what we have, So like in relationships, it's saying that you got to be fair and equal, right? Like you also got to consider the other person's point of view, how they're feeling, their emotions, what your actions are having on the other person, right? Because it takes two to tango here, right? It's not, you can't just be pointing the finger and blaming other people. We have a part in that too. You know what I mean? Two people are doing it, right? So like there's a cycle here. Don't pretend everything's okay when it's not okay. You know, like fantasizing too, right? Like what we have going on at home, it's like a celebration. We have the Nine of Cups with the Four of Wands here. That's like a foundation. So that like that's talking about family home and stuff like that. You could be spending a lot of time with your family. You're just like enjoying. It's saying, okay, watch your drinking first of all. Yeah, I do see family here. You got the Queen of Cups and the King of Chalices, with the Four of Wands, the Ten of Cups. That's family, right? Mother, father, family. Two of Chalices could be brothers and sisters as well. You know, like going back home or something like that. You know, get like so family members have some sort of importance to you guys too. Sorry, I got a person like that just messaged me there. I do this for free too, right? Like so like there's a lady that she just left a comment on, I think it was Libras. So like we're talking about boundaries too here, right? Like I do this voluntarily. I usually check. I try to comment back, but you know I'm pretty limited on time. So that lady right there is pushing my boundaries. You know what I mean? I do this for free, and I'm more than happy to help people out and be kind and stuff like that. But I mean, when somebody tries to cross that line, like and not respect you or your time or your you gotta like put your foot down. Like I'm gonna have to nicely say to that lady, like I'm not gonna apologize to her because like I got a life, and I have to have healthy boundaries when I do this too, so I'm not being taken advantage of. You know what I mean? Like so there's like in your reading I'm getting the same type of thing. Like somebody could be feeling that they're taken advantage of, or you guys are being taken advantage of, right? Like, but that's because things are not being said or dealt with or expressed in the moment. You know what I mean? Like, at home, you guys are enjoying yourselves at home. This is really a time for celebration. So getting in tune with, like, getting in touch with your family members, having parties. You might be going out to people. There could be weddings that you could be attending. You could be attending like friends' celebrations. That comment just set me off there. I got Saturn in my sign, man. It's like bombs dropping on me left, right, and center. You know what I mean? And as a Sag, sometimes we don't think things through completely. That's what makes us brilliant, both brilliant and stupid. We learn from our mistakes. So what we have coming in at home. You guys gotta watch your emotions because it could be affecting your work. If you get emotionally off balance, it's really going to affect your work. I'm getting that. Where you guys are really focused on numbers too at work. You might need to, also the cards are saying you might need to do some more accounting, learn accounting for those of you that have your own business. Also watching your spending this month is quite important, you guys. You could overspend, overindulge, get carried away. Scorpios are very caring people, and when they go out with their friends and stuff like that, you guys do tend to pick up the bills and stuff like that. So make sure you're not being taken advantage. There's a sense here of emotional, being taken advantage of emotionally. You know what I mean? Like establishing boundaries. Don't let people take advantage of you guys, your kindness. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people think, you know what, Scorpios, the reason why they get screwed in the manner that they do, or you guys, like, it's because you're so kind and caring, but you do it in a different way. You know what I mean? But you guys do get taken advantage of here. Like I'm seeing that in the reading. There's a chance you could be taken advantage of, even at work. Your boss, if you have a boss that's like a Capricorn, Virgo, or a Taurus, could be offering you to move somewhere or work overseas, or promote you. Be careful of gloating though too, okay guys, at work. Watch your emotions at work. So if people are talking at work, don't get involved in that. You got to be very grounded this month, is what it's saying. And you also have to be very focused on your finances. So budgeting, not overspending, like I was saying with your friends and stuff like that. Don't overspend with them, you know, like make sure everybody's bills are separate, you know what I mean? Like at home we do have, like, you need to be spending more time with your parents. So I don't care how old you are, if you're 30, 40, 50, if your parents are around, you need to be spending time with them. Even your siblings, you need to be spending time with your siblings, it's saying here. I do get a sense that some of you guys are, like, your family has some sort of importance this month. You have a choice with them too. So your family members could be interfering with your relationship as well. So you got to, like, your relationship is yours and yours alone, all right? Like, that can be really hard. It could be, I'm getting here, like, you could be different cultures. There could be a big age gap or something like that. Your one party's parents is not agreeing with a situation. There's a big difference here. But that's just because of their belief system and their values, right? Like in Scorpio, we're in, like with Sagittarius, with Saturn being in Sagittarius, your belief system is being tested, right? Like, so you're going to have to expand. You're going to have to realize that, you know, like, I can take the old and make it new. So like, you don't have to do things the way that your parents do. Like, but you're going to have to realize that that's not their fault that they're like that. They were raised like that. It's conditioning. It was passed on to them. So now it's being passed on to you, and you need to break that cycle. Like, we're getting a sense here, you need to break the cycle, right? Like, so your mother might not, or father might not agree with who you're with, but you're really going to have to stick up for your own value system and your belief system. That's what Sagittarius is about. You're going to have to come to your own mindset, right? Like, you're going to have to adapt a new philosophy, a new belief system, you know, like, you're gonna have to make things work for you, right? Like, it's gonna take trial and error, you know what I mean? So you might have to open up to your parents and really talk about what's happening with them. Okay, so what not to do at work is we have the 8 of Wands here. So that's quick communication. That's Mercury and Sagittarius. So that's like a lot of ideas, quick, and in multiple avenues, multiple things, multiple ideas, like coming, like, it's not like just one, you know, you're not just concerned about the financial aspect of it. You're also concerned about, like, health and safety part of it. You're also concerned about the human resource part of it. You know, like the accounting part of it. It's like, it's quick. It's a lot of things happening real fast. It's saying not to do that, right? Like, again, we're going back to with the 9 of Cups here, not to emotionally get off balance, right? Not to panic, being slow and methodical about the way you're doing things, stepping back, reevaluating, giving yourself 5 seconds to take a few breaths before you respond to a situation. If you do get brought into an emotional situation, it's also saying. And what we have is temperance for home, and that's, okay, so it's saying, okay, so with temperance, and this is saying what not to do, right? So temperance is, like, basically what the cards is saying is what I said. It's like doing things the old way, right? The old-fashioned way. Like, you're gonna have to alchemize the old with the new. You know what I mean? You're gonna have to. You can still take your practice and beliefs and religion and adapt that, but there's got to be compromise. Like, you got to compromise a bit, right? But it's saying not to compromise on who you are as an individual, right? Your needs, your wants, your belief systems. Like, if you're in love with somebody and they are from a different culture and it's causing problems with family members, well, then this is saying not to compromise. You got your own belief system, your own values. You're gonna have to stick up for it. Like, you're gonna have to, like, take some time and really evaluate. But emotionally wise, you guys can't get too off balance at home either, right? Like, you can't. Your partner might be a Sagittarius or a fire sign, or like a Leo, at Aries. And if that's the case, then you got to realize like, you operate from emotions, they operate from passion and desire. You can't hold them back, right? Like, if you hold them back, they're gonna lash out. A Leo, they'll cut you. You know what I mean? A Sagittarius will just will just act like a magician and disappear. You know what I mean? And Aries, they can't be stunted either. You know what I mean? Like, uh, you could miss an opportunity at home. Like, you can't avoid things at home, it's saying, right? Like, the science is coming through too, water. So, like, with science, science is like minute details, right? So you're missing those details at home. You're only looking at the emotional satisfaction when there's other details that got to go into it, right? Like, so if you're having problems with your partner, you could be like sexually withholding because you're not emotionally getting what you want, but you don't understand that that person needs like needs you to like physically be active with them in order for them to show you emotion, right? Because then they're thinking that you're not interested in them, and that's causing them to hold back their emotions. Like, there's a cycle, right? Like, it's going back and forth. Like, so, like, if you're participating in it, it doesn't matter who did it first, you know, but it's just going to keep going back and forth until somebody breaks the cycle. That's what it's saying, right? Like, so you gotta evaluate things, right? You gotta look at your stability. Like, you gotta ground things, and like, you can't be out in the clouds thinking that, you know, like, of this perfect happy ending is normal. There's no such thing as normal or perfect, right? Like, there's no such thing. People can say that there is, but there isn't. Like, everybody's different. We're all unique. We're all snowflakes. Everybody communicates differently. Everybody has a different way of expressing themselves, showing themselves. Everybody has different needs and wants. So you're going to have to compromise here. There's cards are saying that there's got to be compromise. Like, you can't be doing things in the old manner. Definitely watch that people aren't emotionally using you guys too, right? Taking advantage of you guys. That's coming through here. You got to be very balanced with the way you're doing things. All right, you guys, I'll talk to you mid-month, and ciao for now.